Minister, I suppose this deal has made people sit up and take a look at the role of investment funds in protecting or enhancing the environment, and also Coiltte's relationship with investment funds. And I think both of them are important things to look at. I suppose I would have a number of questions arise, Minister. Why did Coillte select Gresham House? What procurement process was put in place? What open bidding? I mean, Gresham House, they've come up with a great blurb, but they're not unique in that. I mean, there's lots of investment funds around the world that are into greenwashing these days. So were all the other greenwashing investment funds allowed to bid? If not, why not? And why did Gresham House choose Coillte? In the short time available to me, I'd like to posit, maybe put forward some answers. You might disagree with them. If you do, I'd like to know why. I'd like to thank Deputy Boyd Barrett. On the People Before Profit website this morning, I found, you read it, the Irish Times, RT, and the People Before Profit website. No, but I'm joking, but a very interesting letter, Minister, which... A very interesting letter that I'm sure you've seen, Minister, because it's from the European Commission Director General of Environment, the head of unit there, to the Principal Officer of the Forestry Division within your department, so your officials. And it talks about inappropriate afforestation of sensitive habitats such as peatlands and negative effects on areas of high ecological value, including areas under high natural value farming, notably with regard to open landscapes important for hen harrier and ground nesting birds such as the breeding curlew. It also expressed concerns about proposed planting in river catchments that are critical for the freshwater pearl mussel. Now, it's not your fault that all those areas have been degraded over the years. It's not your fault that, Darren Coillte or Lower and that Ireland's wood cover was cut down centuries ago. But it is your fault if you do nothing about it. As a minister with stated environmental credentials, if you go into a department and do absolutely nothing about it, then it is your fault. Now, turning back to Coillte, why would you select Coillte? Because state agencies look the other way when it's Coillte. The National Parks and Wildlife Service carry out a very valuable function in Clare, as right across the country. But when the transgressor is Coillte, or when the transgression is on Coillte lands, they look the other way because they will be bogged down in paperwork for months with Coillte, whereas if they tackle a small farmer or even a big farmer, they will ultimately be successful and they will see a dividend, a return. So it's easier to go after the small man than Coillte. Coillte forestry practice in general is undoubtedly responsible for a degradation in water standards across Ireland, and Clare in particular. East Clare, the Slieve Aughties that I've mentioned to you many times, is very heavily afforested, much but not all of it by Coillte. Lawco have carried out surveys into water quality there, a marked degradation in the Bleach River, in the Lough Rainey catchment, all the way down into Scariff and the Lough Derg SPA. There's also a degradation on the other side, the Slieve Barna Mountains, in the Ownigarney River, the Anamulahon River, which the Anamulahon River, I must declare, flows through a farm that I am fortunate, a very beautiful farm that I'm fortunate enough to own. Pearlwater mussels recorded there right up to the 70s, gone. Coillte recently commissioned as an environmental study there because of a project that they're planning to carry out there. Didn't look at eels, because eels are of course protected under European law, and they didn't look at it specifically because eels were found there as recently as a couple of years ago by Inland Fisheries Ireland. So they look away. The last thing I would say is even down to the creation of SACs, the Slieve Barna Bog SAC. I invite you to look at the map, Minister, and see how carefully it is contoured to avoid the zoning of Coillte land as part, the inclusion of Coillte land as part of that. Whoever drew up that map, Minister, you should get, if you want to get an overall majority, if the Greens want an overall majority in the next Dáil, get them to do the maps of the next constituencies, because it is a work of art, and it is Coillte, they reach in, they're not treated equally to others.